guilty of crime.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, all notifications. All right, get yourself a membership. Either gift a membership, get a membership. It all helps the channel. Guys, in 2 more days, we're going to be in Vegas. CrimeCon 2026. What's up, everybody? As you can tell, I'm getting ready for that. I'm going through the stages of the hair dyeing and the beautification that women have to do. Even tomboy women have to do it. So what's up, everybody? How you doing? Happy Tuesday. So good to see you, Cool and Chris, number 25. We have 71 people rolling in. If you guys would do me a favor, hit the like button. It's free. If you do have the means to gift a membership, get a membership, super chat, super sticker. Also, I've got Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, all that because, well, we're going to Vegas. Yeah, I'm getting very excited. And there's steps to the process, Kel. Lots of steps to the process. Not only just my looks, but however we're taking the RV. We got to get groceries. I still got to get a haircut. We got packing to do. Man, what's up, Jack Starmo? Good to see you. I saw your comment earlier. And boy, do I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you know that I'm going to bring up all these people's faces and names and let you know the people who have officially been detained, not charged, cleared, not charged, and people that we've looked at, guys. People seem to forget. There's a ton of people. And, you know, I don't do that for dramatic effect to show you. Literally, each and every single person on there has been implicated in the case and either detained and released or their car's been ripped apart. And all of these people have connections in some way or the other. So although we're going to talk about that, I'm not going to sit there and talk about the connections. I'm not making up theories or any of that stuff. I'm going strictly facts, and then I'll let you know when we're going to do assumptions, because DNA and digital devices do point to the kidnapper. And I assure you, FBI is not sitting back there, not creating this case with all these people. Because if I were on the FBI or if I were on Pima County, I'll tell you what, right now, my file would be this thick with every single person that we've ever detained, talked about, anybody that's been a suspect, anybody that has a criminal record, anybody that's tied into that inner circle of people. And I assure you, that's what they are doing. And I found a perfect clip. I'm not even going to put the whole episode. Marino Boyle minutes ago came out and said, you know what? And I'll tell you what I'm talking about when I get there, because I'm telling you right now, they've got a file and every single person is in that file that has been detained, talked to, questioned, car taken, all of that. And that includes the mother of Luke Daly as well. All right. So good to see you. Thank you, Jax. I know you're an OG Trotter daughter. Good to see you. Elvin, how you doing? Always a nice weekend. I completely just shut down this weekend. I was like, derp, I'm not doing anything. And then yesterday I started getting ready and back to work. Foxy, good to see you. I'm going to see you soon in Vegas. All right, guys. So that's what you have to look forward to today. Not only that, but guys, in order to solve a case, FBI and law enforcement do lean upon their expertise. And so when they solve a case, like let's say the Gilgo Beach murder, that's not something that you're going to probably ever get in a lifetime again. However, yeah, they're not. They're no longer waiting. I'm going to get there. But here's the thing. The FBI is no longer waiting. These people are there. Work is being done behind the scenes, I assure you. All right. Is your bedroom the mushroom stick? Is it still that? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is it is the mushroom stickers. That's funny. Thank you, Jack Stormo. And 2020 during COVID, we had a lot of people that were having mental health crises, right? Because people were stuck in the house. And your girl Jay from Guilty of Crime is, an entrepreneur of sorts. And people wanted medication and they couldn't get it. So, I made it for them. Anyhow, that being said, it's legal here in California, yada, yada, yada. And, if the world comes to an end, I have enough ammo, food, and water for at least, 4 of us in this house? And of course, Mama Pearl. Actually, 3 plus Mama Pearl, depending on if my nephew's there. Anyway, hello, everybody. So I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to tell you about this guy because this guy they're looking at again. And you got to understand, people are out there right now. We've got Dolly back out there. We've got JLR. We've got this guy named The Juice. So many people are out there now just kind of dilly-dallying. Neighbors are getting pissed. But they're waiting outside of this guy's apartment, and it just doesn't make sense. It's not making things make sense. So I want to make sense for you guys. All right. Yeah. You guys know, I mean, I'm 46 years old. I've tattooed for 25 years. I've been working at my company, running it for the last 18. I'm an entrepreneur straight up. I do what makes me feel good. Anyway, yes, this is the closest one I've seen to it. Besides, let me tell you something, and I want you guys to understand something. We're not just looking for a porch guy. I'm not advertising anything because I don't do anything. I don't do any of that anymore. That was from 2020. That's what I was telling Jack Stormo. We're no longer in 2020, and your girl Jay from Guilty of Crime runs a show and runs a company. That's it. I'm not even tattooing right now, my friends. All right, Mama Sage, thank you so very much for the $1.99 and Jack Stormer for the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. Thank you so much. And have a drink on the 29th. It's my birthday. I'll be 69. Well, happy early birthday. I really don't drink, but I mean, if someone wants to buy me a top shelf vodka something, I'll take one, All right, let's get go. Yeah, definitely. My mind's always going a million miles an hour. Jay, Stefan asked how you and Tiff and Foxy and Cindy are doing. He sends a big, well, thank you. I was going to ask you some stuff about what's going on with the Tennessee gal and whatever, but we'll catch up on that for sure. I got some things to talk to you about. Tell them we say hello, and the person that we love is you. So tell him he's lucky to have a good mom like you and dad like Chris. All right. Let's pull this. Let's remove this, put that back, and then look at this. We need to bring Nancy Guthrie home, guys. All right. Anybody's birthday, always shout out to it. What's up? 69, baby. Well, guess what? I'm going to be 47 in July, and my wife is going to be 46, and we're celebrating in Vegas. So Mrs. Guilty, it's going to be her birthday month when we're in Vegas. So if you see us, you can stop and say, hey, Guilties, what's up? All right, guys, love you so much. 10 minutes in, I missed you guys. I definitely did. But, we need to bring Nancy home. Thank you, Jax. Stormo. I mean, that's the bottom line. Is this 84-year-old woman needs to be brought home, and it's not fair. And I think she's going to be somewhere near. Okay, so let's get into it, because we do have a big show today. I'm going to put this up real quick because I want to tell you the what's happening right now. YouTubers are all sitting out there waiting. This was the controversy last night. This guy right here, which, guys, by the way, I can't get his face and those lips and different pictures that I've been seeing. I can't get that porch guy out of my head. But I need you guys to understand that FBI and law enforcement are not just looking for porch guy. They're looking for several people, and it includes every single one of those plus more. Now, go look at that picture right above Savannah Guthrie. Look at the drawing. Tell me that that drawing doesn't dead on match the guy to the left, Carlos. If you could tell me that with, in all honesty, if you could tell me Carlos on the left does not resemble really hard that guy, Carlos, and the sketch, let me know what you think, because I don't see anybody matching as much as I do with those two guys on the left. I wish I could point it out for you, but the guy where it says live and the damn drawing. You guys have to remember, there are a lot of people involved in this, and they're not necessarily named suspects, but they have been named and they have not been cleared. All right. So people are just like hyper focusing on the porch guy. And it's like, dude, there's a porch guy. He put on a show. He did. He put on a show for the connection of the people, but there's more than one person, in my opinion. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about today. This guy right here, let me tell you, YouTubers that have been sitting out, guys, they're sitting outside of Zach's apartment. Zach still maintains that he's going to start suing people who spend their time sitting outside his apartment and waiting on him to either go in or go out. Now, he's not in, he says he's not in the country. He's watching on a ring cam, but I don't know, man. I'm not sure. He's over there getting real comfy with some true crimers, guys, and that makes me uncomfortable. Why it makes me uncomfortable is because, in my opinion, he's a person of interest, okay? And as a person of interest, I get uncomfortable when they start trying to buddy up with my channel or Dolly's or Clutch and Pearls, because what they're really saying is, I want you to clear me, but you're clearing me just on social media. I want your voice to tell people that I didn't do it and to leave an innocent man alone, and I can't do that. I simply can't do that with this guy or any of the people that you see on today's thumbnail. And I'm going to get into names. Don't worry. All right. What's up, Tucson girl? Good to see you. Nana Rocks, how you doing? Krista, always a pleasure. I hope to see so many of you. Big hug. Clark, I texted you, I think yesterday. Cuffuse in the house, Mama Sage. Right. So it's hard for me to ignore this, but what I'm telling you, when they start buddying up like this, they want the social media attention to come off of them in a negative light. And I just don't want to do that. Now, Supras says FBI doesn't have a clue who it is, nor does the sheriff. That's interesting because what is it? Where do we see that they don't know who it is? I want to see the documentation that doesn't show his name anywhere. Now, I couldn't find it on AI Google. They said his name wasn't in there at all. But you're also looking at this guy, and why would FBI tell anyone whose name they have and whose name they don't anyway? I don't think so. I do not think so. And I mean, that guy wasn't on there. That Ronald guy, Ronald Lopez, that inserted himself into this and said, "Hey, I want to insert myself into this because I'm not a woman." You remember that guy? And then we've got Luke and we've got Zach. So there's Luke. The eye kind of matches. Zach, the mouth. Oh my God. It's hard to unsee. So FBI is not going to tell you or me or them or her or us, anybody. They're not going to tell you, oh yeah, we got these guys, that guy. They're not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you these are all connected. There's a lot of nefarious dealings. There's some back history. And these people are connected to Annie and Tommaso. Now, I'm not even considering the person that tried to extort them allegedly and got arrested. All right, I'm not even talking about the guy in the back with the phone. He looking like Frankenstein. Right, I'm not even talking about him. So, what I'm gonna say this to say this: Zach is on the is going on other shows. He said he's watching through the ring cam. He's mad that people are at his house. He says he's not there. He says that he was brought in through a car dealership, that he owns parts on MG, and Tommaso knows Zach allegedly. That's how he was brought in. So FBI doesn't know him. Pima doesn't know him. Guess what? They're not going to tell you, me, them, him, her, or the little bird on my shoulder who they know. So that being said, Zach was brought into this, and that was the big thing that was happening last night. So we now have Zach allegedly tied to Tommaso, along with a lot of other people. Now, it's it's like Sebastian's case, except this has a lot more pertinent information than you think, right? And I want you to realize that total people detained thus far are 5 people. But let me give you the names. I'm going to give you the names, and then we're going to start going over stuff. Okay. And I did do Jack and Lily. There's no closure because there's nothing new in the case. I know. I mean, nobody's even covering it. No one's out there. Daniel's just telling lies. I mean, so I think I think a lot of people think this is a cold case, but guys, once I get into this, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Let me tell you real quickly the characters, and if I missed anyone, let me know because they're not all on here publicly. Carlos Palazuelos. That guy is back in the forefront again. Palazuelos. That's the guy. Carlos is the guy on the left, very left above Ronald, that looks exactly like that sketch. Okay? People are forgetting that these people have a paperwork file this high on each individual person. All right? Thank you, Foxy, for the Guilty of Crime membership. If you receive that, please thank her in honor of her brother. Gone way too soon. Hey, what's up, support with Steph? How you doing? Shadow Lion, good to see you. Okay, so he looks so similar to that. So we're going back around, doubling back. You can't tell me they just forgot about these people. All right, so listen, here's the status. Nancy Guthrie's family members and spouses say that they have been formally cleared as suspects by the sheriff. FBI is not clearing anyone. Now, who's been detained and released? We got Carlos Palazuelos. We got Luke Daly. We got Kayla Day. We got Mary Chapman Daly, Luke's mom. Remember the lady with the guy, the older lady that says, "Not my son. My son was playing video games at 2 a.m. and I know it. I done know it." Then we got Dominic Evans, Aaron Ronald Lopez, Derek Kallela, and Zach. Guys, how many names did I name, and how many people are you seeing? Luke Daly, Mary Daly, which is the mom, Kayla Day, others that they're not naming, Dominic Evans, Aaron Ronald Lopez, Derek Kallela, Zach, Carlos Palazuelos. I mean, what else do I have to say? This is the case of this case kicked off 4 days too late, in my opinion, because of the way Sheriff Nanos handled this. However, once the FBI came in, they said from day one that they were on the cameras, and they're the ones that actually brought out the masked man. Okay, if it wasn't for them coming in so swiftly, then guess what? We wouldn't have even known any of this. Trotter daughter, thank you. Oh, Claw, big hugs to you. That is sad. Thank you for the love for Christopher, and say a prayer for Claw. Maggie, that's funny. Hey girl, how you doing? Hey, I'm here but late. Love you. Waiting on answers from the judge. Definitely always prayers for you. All right. So there's Zach. I'll leave that up for a minute. If anyone wants to, shout out, send prayers to Melissa. It's always her and Claw. Anybody that needs it, Sadie's mama, you know who you are. All right, guys. Much love to you. Yeah, we all love you. You know we do around here. All right. So we are like a little family, and how many damn people were detained during the search? And Dominic Evans' criminal history surface claims, and he's Tommaso Sione's bandmate. But then we also have Derek Colella. Guys, this isn't adding up. All right. So there's Zach. He's not even identified. There's nothing identified about him. But what is coming up is this guy. This is Carlos. This is the guy that I was telling you is having a fit right now. No, that's not Zach. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Zach's having a fit. Carlos Palazuela's the one that was initially detained, and then he went on a spree of social media. Guys, his face looks exactly like the drawing. All right, look at it. Look at the drawing and then look at him. Let's just go back to that, and then I'm going to show you how many people were detained, how they're connected, what's happening now, and what's next. All right, check it out. So first we got Zach, we just talked about. People are waiting in front of his house. People in the audience here are saying FBI doesn't even know who this is, but the internet's saying that Zach is connected to Tommaso. Once again, the puppet master is connected to all these guys. All right, so this guy, none of these people have been ruled out. I want you to realize that. I guess they're not.
What am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like, I'm innocent.
And you don't even know who the lady is.
Nah.
And it's weird. He says I'm innocent. This is body language and everything about him. I can't unsee that damn his face and that damn sketch. What does that sketch have to do with this case when you have all those people that have been brought in, detained, and even cars taken apart? All right. Trotter Daughter says I may or may not have spent multiple nights searching random Facebook connections to Carlos in the early days for anyone with a. Oh, nice. Thank you, Trotter Daughter. I'm wondering what you came up with. It's been a minute, David. What's up? David BMX, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, and that's not even all of them, guys. That is not even all of the connections. So when people say, Jay, this case is done, it's dead, it's what you're beating a bush. No, we're not. Not at all. Not even a little bit. And I'm going to show you why. All right, let's add this guy back up. Take a look at him so we can move through the people quickly and get on with the past cases to solve this investigation and what the hell is happening right this very minute.
When they finally told you this had to do with some kidnapping, like what were you thinking?
Like, what the am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like,
To be honest.
And you don't even know who the
He
lady
said, I'm
is.
innocent.
You know who
No.
Savannah
no,
Guthrie is?
no. I
Nothing.
don't follow the news.
Right.
I don't watch.
You don't watch the Today Show?
No,
So this was a complete
Yeah.
shock.
Yeah.
it was.
When they finally told you this had to do with some kidnapping, like what were you thinking?
Like, what the am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like, I'm innocent.
And you don't even know who the lady is. Do you know who Savannah Guthrie
No,
is?
no.
Guys, you guys are all going to be shocked when we find out who's the ringleader and how many people are connected. I don't think you're going to be super shocked, but I think in a way you're going to say, yeah, they did investigate quite a bit of people and they spent a lot of time getting emergency search warrants. And this is one of the first guys. All right. So now we've got Zach. I don't even know this damn man's last name. We've got Luke and Zach, I'm putting faces to, and Carlos Palazuelos. Okay. I just want you guys to understand where I'm coming from and what the hell this thumbnail means. All right. All these people are all in a case file. What's up, the boss bitch? Good to see you, my friend. Cool and Chris, it's always a pleasure. I'm so glad you're here. And then Mystic, how you doing? All right, let's continue. So I'm going to pull him down. I don't care about that, but I do want to talk about how many people at the very top of the hour have been detained. And I want you guys to remember this case is not over. Now, this was in the very beginning. All right. February 11th, right? Was it the night of? Anyway, just 4 days later, when FBI finally got brought in, search warrants came and people were detained. Okay. So what do we know about the investigation at that time? Well, they had released the pictures of the masks and FBI finally stepped in. But that took 4 days for them to even get anything handed over. And the DNA is still waiting for the lab. Okay, so amid the search for Savannah, I'm not going to read the whole thing. One person was detained in his gray Range Rover, and it was seized during a late night operation near Nancy's home on Friday. As 3 people were simultaneously taken into custody. This came after investigators zeroed in on an SUV in Culver's parking lot in Catalina Foothills, just 2 miles from Nancy's home. The driver was taken in for questioning and later released. 2 men, as well as their mothers, were also taken into custody by SWAT, acting on a tip. They were released after. Previously, a man named Carlos Palazuelos was detained by police for questioning in the connection of this case, and he was released shortly after being detained. Now, I want you to realize none of these people, and I mean none of them, are cleared. Carlos was reportedly detained during a traffic stop. Police even executed a search warrant at his home. Now, I do got to tell you, I have to tell you, when you look at that face and you look at the drawing, I can see what's going on here, but I can't imagine them getting an emergency search warrant just because someone says, hey, that Mexican guy looks like the Mexican guy in the mask that you can't really see. Go get him. Can you imagine filing a search warrant for nothing? All right. Okay, so all these people at the very beginning when FBI came in, people started, knocking on doors and stepping it up and identifying the backpacks and the front door guy and putting in work. Just putting in work. So now the FBI has got a black glove and maybe a hair, maybe there's some blood samples. That's about it. This was taking it back for you. And I'm just trying to show you that this case is far from cold. Now we go into this one, and there you go. Dominic Evans' criminal history. Was Tommaso Sione's bandmate ever charged with burglary in Pima County? Well, we're all still looking at this guy right here because Dominic Evans looks different now, but they were looking at him as a person of interest, or this would have never even came up. You know who that is? He looks a lot different than you think. It's the guy right next to Savannah, right in the middle of Savannah and the 2 Carlos Palazuelo drawings. Okay, he looks a lot different. That's what I'm saying. All right. I'm just telling you, I don't think people realize that. I don't think people realize that at all. So he's been named. Now they don't want people getting attacked and all that. So they're just calling him, they're just saying, oh, we looked at him and detained him. Guys, they're investigating something, and they're investigating a lot of somethings for many people. All right. So Tuesday, authorities released the surveillance footage, and, well, look at what came out. Another connection. Now, guys, Dominic Evans was Tommaso Sione's bandmate, but that is not Derek Colella, the old bandmate that texted Annie and Tommaso and said, we need our Bitcoin money. We're getting tired of it. All right. So that's a whole separate thing. And I think people are thinking that, law enforcement's coming in here and they're pointing at the fingers and everyone's just being cleared. Nobody's been cleared. The only people that have been cleared, and just by the words of Nanos, is anybody that's in the Guthrie family. That's what he said. You can't do that. You simply can't do that. All right. It's just not possible. Now, let me show you what they're doing over there today. Let's take a look. I thought that was pretty cool. Although, guys, today's May 26th. She's been missing for over 100 days now. And we just found pajamas that were bagged up. Are those Nancy's? Does anyone know?
I said, when I look at all this trash over here.
So
They seem to-
I can tell you, just because
because we had a lot of dealings with him.
They sure find a lot of stuff.
When I have to go back and look at records from a long time ago, but we had a car that was.
Hold on.
Living in a car right along the power line right there, and we had to come to multiple calls for them because they were changing clothes on and off. Does that make sense? So it's possible that could be it. We'll go ahead and take this. I have Pinal County's case number for it.
Okay.
I'll make a comment in my call for it.
Mhm.
I don't put you guys' names in.
Perfect.
Maybe get a phone number for you for contact.
Yeah.
It's like people are trying to win the lotto. I totally forgot about that. Oh my goodness, I forgot. No wonder so many people are out there. There's a $1.25 million reward, and people are thinking they're going to win the lotto. Oh, those might be Nancy's pajamas. Put our names in the hopper, and if it comes out, we done win. We don't have to be hillbillies anymore. And you know, I'm just being silly. What's up, Mrs. Redhead? How you doing? The half face mask guy are good. Why didn't I think of that? I don't know, but I do want to welcome Hyper Kimberly to the Crime Crew official member. Thank you. Welcome in. Come on in. Everybody say hello, Patriot. What you got going on? How you doing? They're doing an awesome job on their channel. Go check them out. If the mods want to drop a link, have at it. What's up, Panda and Crazy Jane? There's a lot more than you guys thought, huh?
All right. Thank you for caring. Thank you for at least looking.
Okay, all right, very good.
Thank you for looking.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for caring and looking. I don't feel like that's caring and looking. I feel like these people want to win money, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. All right. So I'm just like perusing my X real quick because I reshared a bunch of stuff on mine. Ew, I hate to see his nasty face on my page. All right. So everybody's in on this right now. Who is this person? Nancy was abducted February freaking 1st, 2026. All right. And it took 4 days for FBI to even get into this. A lot of people are using this AI thing. Not very helpful. Not very helpful at all to spread something like this where people internationally think that, oh, yeah, I know that guy, and that's just a freaking AI. So just my thoughts, in my opinion. Now, Criminal Network has been doing some really good work, and they're on scene as well. If someone came up in front of you at Circle K and said, get out of here, people like this entitled ass clown would have got bitch slapped. He said to me on the street, he does not own a public street, so I have no apologies for that loser. He should be lucky my fat ass was sitting on a chair, because if his alleged daughter wasn't around, I would have said all this in his face. I'm not the bully. I said nothing. He asked for it. Well, you know, I do feel for the community. However, I do feel for the community, and maybe this guy was being an asshat, but you got to remember, I mean, they're putting stuff down so people can't park there. They're getting tired of people just randomly pitching their tents or whatever the hell they're doing outside. So, I mean, give grace when you want grace. That's what I'm saying. Oh, you just renew your gifted membership. Yay. Thank you, Hyper Kimberly. I appreciate that. All right. Yep, and yup. Hi, everyone that said hello. Yeah, we all say hello, Patriot Pride. Okay, so, I mean, this has been happening. We've seen the drunk guy walking around, right? We've seen dads gone live, posting, pictures of whatever. Now, this, they say, is because of human trafficking, and they have proof of it. I don't doubt it. When you look up Pima County, I didn't realize how many crimes were committed. But then I get back into JLR's post, and I don't know how credible he is at this point. I'm seeing all these other things that's going on in his life, and then he's here. So he's saying Tommaso Cioni once claimed that he had a parasite and that he let the parasite in his leg for 3 months to show his kids the parasite. host relationship. Tommaso was the last known person to see Nancy Guthrie. And guys, this is not by design that I do stuff like this. I did not, JLR. I mean, y'all, he's got 16,000 viewers watching. So I don't know how sketchy he is. People are supporting him. I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, every time I go back to this case, it loops me back around to connections of Annie and Tommaso. What's up, Teresa? Good to see you, my friend. Happy Tuesday. Hit that like button, guys. Get a membership, gift a membership, super chat, super sticker. It all helps. You know what a parasite is, girl. We're talking about science. Let me read this to you, okay? I'm going to read it to you real quick. I'll make it bigger so you can see. Now, this just came out yesterday. JLR posted it yesterday, all right? A parasite and a host for kids. He's a teacher. He's Mr. Tommaso Cione. He's a 6th grade and AP biology teacher. How long have you taught at Basis? This is my 5th year teaching at Basis. This is him responding. Now they're asking him, what do you love most about teaching? And Tommaso says, I love the fact that I'm being able to share my passion for learning with my students. I teach 6th grade and AP biology. I love seeing them grow from preteens into young adults and express their potential. Who's your role model? My dad taught me to love for nature and still go forage for mushrooms with him when I go back to Italy. My mom taught me the love for cooking and cherish food. These 2 passions still define who I am today. If I weren't a teacher, he says, I would be a rock star, of course. But wait, I am a rock star. So I guess I'd be a herpetologist? I don't know. Fun fact. He says, I write poetry in Italian, but I don't know if this classifies a fun fact. Oh, I got a parasite, larva, migrans, during my trip to Costa Rica. And I let it be in my leg for 3 months to show my kids the parasite host relationship firsthand. Gross, right? All right. I don't know. I found that really odd. And I just thought I'd share it with you, right? Nah, he's back around. I'm kind of going through some stuff I wanted to show you. Again, this was yesterday. 10,000 people were watching in real time on JLR. And this happens all the time. I mean, people are watching him. He had 87,000 views of this guy digging up a suspicious site. All right. Sorry, who put music like that on, bro? Bro, let me just show you. He's filming this guy. They found a suspicious area where something can be dug up, right? Something might be there. So I'll just put it on for a minute. I just want you guys to see what's happening yesterday, today, and moving forward. Oh, I know. Thank you, Saucy. I still have another run or two to tone it down and get a haircut, but I appreciate you. I have to look like me in Vegas or you guys won't recognize me. All right, I don't want that damn loud music. I don't. Why? What the frick? Why didn't he get in there with the shovel and help? Anyway, you can kind of see some of the stuff that's going on back there. That's why 12,000, 16,000 people are watching that. Now, update on the ground search. A couple was out searching. They came upon pajamas. It didn't seem very hopeful. Now, this was not far from Pima County, but it was far enough from Pima County to believe that it's probably not Nancy's, though you saw them bag it. It's better that they don't ignore it, right? But, who knows? This was the headline, I guess, for yesterday, right? That and Chud the Builder is going to be bent over several times with his boyfriend in jail, and nobody's going to give him commissary for lube. All right? No lube, no commissary. You're done, sir. Let's go. All right, now back to what's happening and how they're looking at solving this case with the case that was in the past in this area. Pima County is not such a great place like I thought it was, guys. I'm really surprised that Nancy Guthrie ever left her doors open and that they didn't have the alarm on and the cameras 24/7. I thought it was this nice little town where rich people retire and drink poolside, drink drinks by the poolside with the straw. I guess not. Chud the racist. There you go. Call him whatever you want. As long as you don't give him lube, I'm fine. Now check this out.
The mystery of who took 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. It's the same process we saw in a different high-profile case here in Tucson decades ago. Now, that right there is Brian Lariva. The Pima County Sheriff's Department dubbed him the primetime rapist. His crime spree across Tucson lasted 3 years as he broke into homes, burglarizing them, and
Let me pull that off there because all of this is very pertinent to the case, right? It might not be these people in particular, but, well, Tucson and surrounding areas, Mama Sage. Look at this. I mean, a lot. Look at the, yeah, this is what I'm saying. In Tucson and surrounding areas going to Mexico. If you ever had a primetime rapist that close in your vicinity, and then all the other people that I see stealing stuff from yards and these bums that are out late at night stealing crap, it's not that friendly of a place. Just saying. I hope they do something right because, I mean, even the media is playing it like forgetting about everything that's happened. How can we forget about all the stuff that's happened? I don't get it. Right. So this was back 1983 to 1986. Guys, these cold cases are getting solved faster than ever now. Go watch IDTV or whatever and look at your cold cases one after the other after 25 to 30 years are finally being solved right now. Best time for technology, DNA, etc.
Actually assaulting the women inside. Deputies believe he was responsible for nearly 30 home invasions across Tucson between 1983 and 1986. Eventually, Pima County deputies surrounded his home, but Lariva took his own life before he could be arrested.
Damn.
The veteran detective who broke that case says the blueprint to finding Nancy Guthrie may already be in the police files in the form of leads. News for Tucson's Andrew Capasso brings us a look at the chilling parallels.
As we close in now on almost 4 months since anyone has seen Nancy Guthrie, one former Pima County Sheriff's detective says the answer to cracking this case is likely already in the hands of investigators. And he says the determination of those on the front lines is likely what could bring the answers this community desperately wants. Investigators in the Guthrie case combed through tens of thousands of leads.
Some leads you can go through in 15 minutes. Some may take 15 days. You may have to do surveillance. You may have to do interviews.
Robbie Mayer was with the Sheriff's Department and cracked the primetime rapist case in 1986.
We ended up with like over 4,000 leads.
He says the answer to that high-profile investigation was in there.
One of the detectives in the task force had Brian Lariva's name as a lead, but he hadn't got to it yet because he had so many leads in front of that.
And he says the answer to the Guthrie case may already be in their pile of leads, too.
I believe the suspects' names are in those 50,000. The question is going to be if they can recognize it when you see it. Being a case like this is being in front of a...
Now, the reason I mean, this is... Ryan Etten came top of the hour with this, and I was like, yes, I got this before even he did. So I'm very excited about that. And Brian Etten had a really good segment on what's happening behind the scenes right now. All right, because of 110 running through Tucson, it's been a drug quarter. Well, also the Mexico route and how quick you can go back and forth, and then you got trafficking. So it's not as lovely as I thought it would be. Authentic says cold case 60%, Chris Nano's fault 30%, Fed's fault 10%, Savannah's fault. Rest in peace, Nancy. You was let down by the people. The three people that supposed to protect you the most. That's so sad to even think about that. Let's bring Nancy home. All right, let's get out from all this. You say, I'm going to be honest. I have a zilch. I think they have zilch. Nope, they do have something, Cuffy. And I appreciate your honesty. And I appreciate the people that don't feel like that. But I assure you, you can't have a cast of characters in the way that you do, and the emergency search warrants and the connections. You can't have that and then at the same time have zilch. So just, well, you know, we'll get to it. Check this out.
Field with like 100,000 rocks laying in the field. And you know what you're looking for is under one of those rocks. And you just got to keep turning over rocks.
Hold on. Sorry.
Till you find the one you want.
It's something neighbors on edge for months say they are relying on investigators to do.
Look at everything, double and triple check.
Mayor has his own theories about what happened to Nancy Guthrie. He thinks there are several people involved in taking her. He also believes an existing theft group he says targets wealthier elderly people may be responsible. That group, he says, was active in Phoenix just 2 years ago. Despite all the theories former law enforcement experts have shared on the case, this one neighbor who didn't want to go on camera says that drive to find the answer can't go away.
The investigators are doing what they can. We need them to keep going.
Mayor says it's what solved the case decades ago and put a community at ease. And while he says the Guthrie case is different.
This case is so unique. You can't, most of the time we try to find patterns. We can't find a pattern in this case. These guys came prepared not to leave hair or DNA or fingerprints. Look how that guy was clothed. They turned off their cell phones.
He says the team on it, both at the local and national level, has the drive they need.
And this is a very high caliber law enforcement agency. And I think the FBI is going to crack this case.
And now both the Sheriff's Department and the FBI continue to work this Nancy Guthrie investigation. The sheer number of tips they've got is going to take some time to sift through. In the meantime, they say they still need your help and welcome any information you could have on this case.
Of course. Anything and everything is a tip. All right, let's continue, you guys. Come on in, hit that like button. If you are leaving, hit the like button, share. If you can, hype it. That would be awesome. Help we get in the algorithm. None of them are looking at the whole picture. They are though. I believe FBI absolutely is looking at the whole picture. We're not looking at the whole picture on social media because we keep looking at bits and pieces of a whole bunch of different things. And it's like we forget that we've got these two guys, that we've got these guys, that we've got these guys, and these are all connections and people that have been detained and they've received, you know, at that time, DNA, fingerprints, etc., etc. There is a whole picture, but FBI doesn't need to talk. And I'm sure they're not. I wouldn't, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't sit there and tell you guys what I'm doing and how I'm going to try to solve this case. But again, Zach is coming back up. I don't know why. I don't buy the wrench attack theory either. Yeah, I'm not even looking at weird theories like that right now. I'm just looking at the sheer volume of people that they've detained and let go. And I'm telling you, they didn't do that for nothing. Okay? They did that to find Nancy Guthrie. In the beginning, they thought they were going to find her alive. Now they know that it's bringing a body home. So they stopped going gung-ho and getting emergency search warrants. Guys, the reason they did all those emergency search warrants and detaining was because they thought they can still get her alive. All right? Yes, and yes. Absolutely. All right, I also wanted to show you, so I don't know why they didn't. Okay, hold on real quick. I'm going to put this on real quick because we are hopping back and forth. Because, well, that's the show I put together today. So take a look at this. Here's one of the people out of the two that were initially arrested. These were two initial persons of interest. Guys, they've never been cleared. Now, this is the Carlos Palazuelos that looks exactly like the drawing to me. But then also, it's not just Carlos. It is also, hold on, it's also Luke Daly. You guys know who Luke Daly is, right? This guy? We've got Luke and we've got Zach. These are the original OGs that got, and we're not going to play this whole thing. I just wanted you to see it. So please don't run out because I haven't got there yet. All right? We need to find Nancy, but we need to see it all. Yeah, we need to see it all in perspective. All right?
What they have at that point. But nonetheless, just simply.
Oh, see, there it is. Are Carlos and Luke cleared by law enforcement. Let's give that a minute. Those are two characters that were initially arrested. This guy went on a campaign for himself. He also thought someone saying, I'm fitting to lose money. I'm sure he did say that. I was looking for that, but I'll just show you this real quick because we're going by the list of people that have not been cleared, guys.
Because they did not arrest them at that point, that does not clear them.
Nope.
Dr. Mike McCutcheon,
nope.
They've both spoken to the media afterwards. At least one has a lawyer, talked about potential action or bringing in action. What are your thoughts here on these two? I mean, these are the two hottest leads that I think investigators had, but resulted to this point in nothing really.
And again, it didn't result to nothing. The nothing was that they didn't find Nancy Guthrie alive. And in my opinion, they didn't find her alive because I don't think that this was a kidnapping for ransom. Okay. And secondly, Sheriff Nanos is a jackass. It's straight up documented, in my opinion, that jackass Nanos messed up the first 4 days. Now, the first 24 to 48 hours times 2 is what he messed up. And no, those guys aren't cleared.
Yeah, it's tough because those hottest leads, they fizzled out really fast. And whether they're, I'll say, officially cleared, like Kenneth said, I don't think, from my experience, I don't think they gained anything from it for them to be let go. If they had anything, if they had enough probable cause to do the search, they had enough probable cause to detain, or, reasonable suspicion, probable cause to detain them.
And it's still there. And these people still have lawyers and they're still mad. All right. They're still mad. You cannot clear this guy that looks exactly like the sketch, but you didn't find Nancy Guthrie's body. All right. There's a folder and they're working on it. I'm going to show you that next.
And to question them, for them to get not a hair of more evidence to be able to get probable cause for a warrant for arrest. I kind of think that they probably did have probable cause. I'm not questioning.
They did have probable cause, which means that there's some kind of connection to either somebody or something in this group, or should I say in this sea of people. I don't even have everybody there. And yeah, the whole hand swollen, I go back to Luke Daly time and time again. Luke Daly, and Zach was not on my forefront, but now he is. People are starting to look at him again, and I don't know why. But Luke Daly really, really, really pops out to me because of the way that he looked during that interview. He looked so similar to, he looked too similar, too clean shaven. That's him all the way to the right. And you guys might forget about these people, but I'm sure FBI didn't forget. Are Carlos and Luke cleared?
That, like Kenneth said, like to see the affidavit, but for them to release them so quickly and to not gain any information to be able to develop probable cause for an arrest, I don't want to say they're officially cleared, but in my mind, I have moved on. That I don't think that they have anything to do.
Well, luckily, you're not working on the case, because here's what we have up to right now. I don't think that they did that for no reason. As a matter of fact, actually, the arrests only started coming in when FBI got involved. So I got it right on this part that just came out at 5 minutes and 22 seconds, where you guys know her by now, Maureen, that tells us what's going on, how FBI moves and works. Check this out.
Sheriff deputies are going through right now is nothing short of insane. And they're doing the best job they can, but it's really, really difficult. And I said earlier that when it rains, it pours, and that's almost always the case. Going back to the only case I've ever done that was like that giant was, I'm thinking of 9/11, where we didn't have a day off for something like 120 days, most of us. We worked straight through and we didn't complain. We tried not to, but our families were suffering. I mean, I was coming out of church one time.
No, I started it off right on there because, and thank you, Joy Perry, so much for the $4.99. I do appreciate it. It does help the channel. Now, the reason that I brought it up is because she's saying, and I don't know why no one else is talking about that on the media, about all of these detained people and all of these cars and all of these things that were taken, all these emergency search warrants, and the guy that interjected himself, and the guy that looks exactly like the sketch. They're not talking about what happened with these people and what's going on. What's up, aristocrat? That's what I'm going to call you, aristocratic. Good to see you. Right, so that's what she's saying. She's saying it's a crazy shit show, and they're working out why the connections. Why did Derek Kalila still is going to face jail time for those bitcoins, but when you come back to it all, it's all connected to two people right there in the upper right hand corner. Even if they had nothing to do with it, it's on the outside of it. Let's say that I'm just going to use myself as an example. Something happened somewhere and I have 10 friends with me, right? And I told the 8th friend to do this and the 7th friend, but all of them kind of got together and they did this thing, even though I didn't ask them, but I planted that, hey, I'm going to leave my safe open tomorrow. It's going to have this much money. Well, they're going to get everybody and then gather evidence, and Nancy's obviously not alive anymore, and so there's no reason for emergency search warrants. Now, Shed Lady says Zach called Alex on a live, and it looked like he's in another country. Yeah, see, that's a weird thing to me, because Zach is also talking to Clutch Them Pearls. I mean, look at what a stark difference, right? You're talking about Alex. Are you talking about Patriot Pride? I'm not even sure which channel, because this guy is interjecting himself into different channels at this point. And when I say this guy, Zach, his name just resurfaced. And when you look at the face and you look at the picture and those damn lips and the way his face is, he's again interjecting himself into the case via social media, YouTubers, TikTokers, etc. Okay? So that makes no sense. I wonder if either Luke or Carlos are going to be no, because they didn't arrest them. They never got arrested. All they were was detained on suspicion, and they had enough probable cause to detain them. So you can't sue them for arresting you when you never got sued, and there's enough probable cause that was signed off by a judge. You can't do that. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for understanding where I'm coming from, because it's quite frustrating to hear a case and then forget what's really going on. Yeah, that's true. Rich people don't get arrested. Only poor people. They do, but they get out right away. I know. He has blow up lip dolls. He has like blow up doll lips. Excuse me, lip dolls. I said it backwards. All right, so this is what's happening. It's a shit show.
And someone walked up, and I'm holding my little boy's hand, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you are okay, because the first thing I thought of was both you and your husband getting blown up, because LA was a thing right in front of my little boy." I mean, so it's everywhere, and it's bullshit. It pisses me off. People they think, oh, you're in law enforcement. You can take anything at any time from anyone in front of anyone else. It's we're humans too. So these people are, those, and it's a small group of people over there that are probably going to have it's just a stressful time. And when you're that stressed out, it affects your family, it affects other things. And it just seems to have cascading effects, and one thing compounds the other. So it's just very hard. And I wish them well, and I know they're doing the best job they can. And, I honestly haven't, I hope I'm absolutely wrong, but it seems like nothing went right. I was so excited when they first went to that house that night, when you were on your way over to that guy's house, and then they found the car in the bar. I was like, oh, great. It's all coming together.
In Rio Rico, we thought that too, right? Everybody was going crazy. Can cops get DNA from people? Abso-freaking-lutely, Tucson girl. And can I tell you something else? Most of the time, people aren't going to deny that. They are not going to say, I'm not giving you my DNA when they're brought in. They usually give them their DNA. But I want you to realize that we're not talking about just porch guy anymore. That's a whole separate scenario. Porch guy versus people that are connected to the case through others. Okay, so I'm going to go do this real quick before I go any further. That way you guys can see what the hell I'm thinking in my head. And then I'll get back to what we're doing. All right, so I put this together today. I was, watching everything yesterday. This whole weekend, I was keeping an eye on stuff. And I'm like, how many people have they detained? It's been at least 5. Some aren't named. And the only ones from the Guthrie, the only people that have been cleared by Clown Nanos as suspects are Nancy Guthrie's family members, which is ridiculous. I don't even believe in that. And you know why? Because you can't clear the people that you were to last see them with. You can't clear family members when all the people that were detained around them were connected to them. Okay, that's just not, sorry, Sheriff Nanos, you don't have the right to do that. So listen, here's what we do. We started at February 1st. Nancy goes missing, and 2 people, person of interest, were arrested. They were not cleared. We have Carlos Palazuelos and Luke Daly. Those were the first 2 people. Now, they did bring Luke Daly's mom in because she was with them, Mary Chapman Daly. All right, those were the very first 2 we got excited about. Drove to Rio Rico, all the YouTubers, JLR. Then I started looking at the other names and the other people. We've got Dominic Evans. You say, who's that, Jay? Well, it's another guy on the chart. Then we've got Aaron Ronald Lopez. And Aaron Ronald Lopez inserted himself into the picture by saying, I'm not a female. So we all looked at him. All eyes on Arnold, on this guy, right? All eyes on him. I don't remember let me see if I can show you a picture just because all eyes on Derek. No, not him. Hold on. I mean, we've looked at quite a few people in comparison. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. Hold on. All right. So we looked at this because he inserted himself in. So I want you to realize, see, we're putting the picture together. That's another person that said, hey, yeah, I'm not a female. And then we started chasing that. All right. All right, let's continue. I just wanted you to see, I wanted to have that up, but let's finish it. And we want to bring Nancy home. I think Savannah is not evil. She's just following a script. Oh yeah, 110%. Why? Who says she's evil? She has to be showing the way she does due to her contract and her self-pride, maybe dignity. I don't know. She doesn't want to go on there looking like, ugh. She's got a job to do. I have nothing bad to say about Savannah. All right, so Aaron Ronald Lopez, Derek Colella, that's the guy that's still facing a trial for texting Annie and Tommaso, hey, where's the Bitcoin? I'm getting sick of it, dude. And then called for 9 seconds. All right, so in the Nancy Guthrie case, I'm not going to read all this, but the authorities have detained several people for questioning during the investigation, but they've released them without any charges. No one has been arrested in connection with this case. However, I say that to say key named individuals in this case are Carlos Palazuelos, also as Carlos. He was detained February 10th during a traffic stop in Rio Rico. Now, they even talked about how dangerous it is to do a traffic stop at night on a person of interest like that. He was questioned, his vehicles were searched, and he was released after several hours. Now, he publicly stated he was innocent, but and he says he had no connection to Guthrie and was working as a delivery driver. Law enforcement determined he's not involved. All right? That's what they say. But this came from AI. I looked and they said nobody's cleared. Then we look at Luke Daly and his mom. The one that was driving wasn't that the Range Rover? Or was that Carlos Palazuelos? Luke and Mary Chapman detained 3 days later during a SWAT search warrant at Catalina Foothills. Luke was stopped outside a restaurant in his Range Rover. It was searched and towed while Mary is detained at the residence. Both were released same night, no charges. Later gave interviews denying Luke had a swollen ass hand and quite a different look, by the way. All right, so reports mention up to 4 people being detained. Sometimes they describe it as 3, sometimes 4, between February 13th and 14th. Catalina Foothill operation, which involved search warrants at 1 or more nearby homes. This likely overlaps with the daily detention of the mother and son at the related stop. Right now, not everybody's been named here, obviously, and I'm the one that put the extra people in there of people we were looking at. All right, so there's Carlos, and then the 2 men and mother SWAT, the Range Rover driver, Range Rover SUV belonged to Gray Silver Rover Culver's parking in Tucson. That was the one we saw earlier. Again, there's mentions of a vehicle at the SWAT raided home, but credible sources focus on the Range Rover as the only clearly seized vehicle into evidence thus far. Has anyone been cleared? All detained people, Carlos, SWAT raider, the Range Rover, have been released without arrest. That doesn't mean they're cleared. Law enforcement has repeatedly said no arrests have been made in the case to date. Official language tends to describe as detaining and questioning and then releasing. So there's no other statements of how many suspects that we now have, but it's clear that they are looking at several different places, right? Looking at 70 people, but they're saying they cleared the family. So, hey, if that's what they're going to say, there's nothing else we can say about that, right? But we can say that possibly those people can be connected to Annie and Tommaso without Annie and Tommaso's knowledge. So let's say that they are cleared. Okay. Let's pretend like they're cleared. That's fine. Hold on. We still have connections to them and they're not. Let's get back to this real quick because we're going to talk about some of the devices.
Together. And since then, it's been like crickets, you know? So I hope it's not like crickets. I hope they have things. They're developing things. They're working through things. They're waiting on all kinds of stuff. That's what I hope for.
Me too. It's been almost 3.5 months. Do you ever need like to take someone off and bring a new person in when you're on a task force like this, almost like new blood, new energy, a fresh set of eyes, or is it still too soon for that at the 3.5 month mark?
Well, I'm sure plenty of people have had eyes on this investigation, but there are also times where people get cycled off for reasons totally different. There could be a guy in there that's in the military that's going off for a deployment or to an additional school for 3 or 4 months. They're going to put somebody else in his place. There may be an FBI agent that's getting transferred to Washington, and he had his papers in long before Nancy went missing. He's going to get cycled off and someone else put in. So there's this general attrition that happens in law enforcement for all kinds of different reasons. Sometimes it's because, in municipal law enforcement, you have the day shift, the night shift, the swing shift, however many shifts you guys have. And, you do these 4-month cycles or whatever the department has. And now it's time for this guy to go to the graveyard shift. So there's just this natural attrition. There are going to be new people coming in, going out, and not like to a great extent. I'm not talking like 40% of the people are leaving, et cetera, but we'll have people leaving. You will have people coming back. And I think that's enough for new eyes coming in and out, because everyone that comes in has to get brought up to speed and has to read all their documents and all the reports that have been provided to them.
The sheriff said that he is no longer communicating directly with the Guthrie family, with Savannah Guthrie. And in the beginning,
I wonder if that's true. However, I wonder if that's an odd statement, especially after he cleared the Guthrie family. I've never seen that in my entire life. No, it's not frozen, guys. I stopped it. Hello, it's not frozen. You guys sometimes freak out. It's like one. I'm just playing. We're not. I stopped it, paused it, guys. Y'all are funny.
he sort of alluded to the fact that he was, and he says now he isn't, and that they're just talking to the FBI. What do you think that means?
Well, it sounds like the family got a little frustrated with getting information that didn't comport well with everything else they were hearing. And so if you're dealing with two entities, sometimes one's a better fit than the other one, and perhaps they think the other one
I think maybe they told him to stop talking to him because he absolutely has created a bias for that family. All right. What's up, Nana Rocks? Good to see you, ma'am. You just got back from vacation and now you're going back to Vegas. Is that true? That'll be awesome. Hello, Sven. I don't know how to say it properly, but guys, come on in, hit that like button, subscribe, get a membership, and let's not throw conspiracy weird theories out there. We're all good in talking about our dogs or whatever, guys, but let's focus on the topic at hand. If Kel is saying that, then you know something's going on. It keeps creeping into my brain that this horrible crime started the day the Today Show episode that was filmed in the restaurant in November was Savannah, and that's a possibility, Linda. I mean, it's a huge possibility. We don't have anything right now. I doubt that's true. I know. He seems very controlled, but now he's got to be careful because you know what? They find any kind of transactions and he's in trouble. All right. No donations, sir.
perhaps they think the FBI is a better fit than dealing with the actual sheriff. There's got to be someone from the sheriff's department, and there's all kinds of qualified people that are really good at talking to people. Law enforcement officers are generally very good at talking to people, especially if you're like a detective not especially. They're just generally good at talking to people because you have to talk to all kinds of people from all kinds of places at many times a day, and you just get used to it.
How do you do that when you don't have answers yet and a family's getting frustrated? Like for you, when you were, doing the job, I don't know, do they ever get mad? Like, how do you sort of navigate that?
Yeah, people lose their minds. People get really angry. People lash out. These are things that you're taught to expect and not take personally. And you just try to remain calm and try to maybe reel them in a little bit. Or sometimes it's just time and space is a better option. You just weigh these things out. Yeah. If you're having a really difficult time, you can pass the baton on to someone else if you think it's going to be better. And that may be what happened here. Maybe, the family or someone requested that someone else handle it.
I doubt that. I really don't. He's the only one that was shielding from it. But as long as they're doing their work behind the scenes, that's what we need to go. No, we're not going to listen to this whole thing because she's basically just going off on, whatever. That's not in the case. We're just making suppositions. Hold on, I want to see what she has to say.
Was with a guy who worked at a bank. So this was, he worked at a bank, and he had people notify the bank that their spouse had died. Elderly couples. So this is all he targeted, elderly couples. If you called into this bank and said that your spouse had passed away, he would then go in quickly and change your address of record and your signature card.
Does anyone in chat and I saw someone earlier saying you couldn't help but think, what's up, Tara Angel, Mama too? You couldn't help but think that this happened when Savannah went on to the Today Show or whatever in the restaurant, and then it spiraled. Does anyone think that it's literally someone that just doesn't like Savannah and has been watching her and like, hey, screw this lady, I'm going to do whatever I can to piss her off? Or number one, do you think it's an inside job? Number two, do you think it's a complete outside job that just, hey, somebody saw Savannah? One, if you think it's an inside targeted job, and two, if you think it was somebody just, hey, saw him on TV, got an opportunity, doesn't like Savannah's face, doesn't like her attitude, whatever. All right. So I got mostly ones, but there's some people that are saying that she will never be found. There's plenty of time. Yeah, but I don't think they were sophisticated in that way, Mimi. There's a lot of ones in here, people that think it's a targeted inside job. I mean, the fact that the perpetrator came up to the door and you got two different scenes that he set to make it look scary and creepy. Not enough guys. Come on, guys. It's all personal. All leads back to that's what I think too. And it keeps coming back to that, but I'm just not buying. I'm not sure. I'm not buying anybody being cleared. Doctor's appointment on Friday and Monday. I'll hit your crime car. Woo. All right. You're not going to crime con anymore, MM? Okay. So see, and that's why I knew I'd get a couple of twos. Linda, Mab, Patriot, Pride. They've got a lot of different alternate theories about people that we don't even know about. I don't know if I should want. Y'all are funny. You feel like it's an inside. All right. I mean, I'm telling you that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't understand how it make sense that all of these damn people are connected some way to these guys. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, but that's also a lot of work that has been done in hiding her body and whatever the hell else they've done to not get any money or compensation. So make that make sense. I go by the evidence. And the only evidence that we have, oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, MM Clar. That's too bad. You're not even that far either, right? All right, let me go a little bit before. Guthrie was the mastermind. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. Someone random breaking your house
or whatever, and then make you unlock your bank accounts to get access to your funds. You know, whether it's crypto or just your regular bank accounts. You know, use your face, whatever they have to do. There was an expert who spoke to Fox Digital, thinking that maybe that could have been related to Nancy Guthrie. That there was a mastermind behind the scenes. The motive may have been getting into Nancy's bank accounts. What do you think of that?
I think they would have had someone in handcuffs if that were the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like kind of some.
That's why it just doesn't make sense, right? Maybe they didn't know. You know, I had thought that too. Last night I was sitting there thinking about all these people and all the connections. And I was like, what if someone just stumbled upon this house? Because we see a lot of crime like that here in that area, right? What if someone stumbled on it and then after they took her, they realized, oh shit, that's Savannah Guthrie's mom that we have with, or when they got in the house, she says, you know, maybe she said something like, hey, my daughter is Savannah and she'll, you know, pay. I don't know, but somehow they stumbled on the house. I'm not buying that. I'm trying to think outside the box and I just don't think any yet. There you go, Mab. I can think about it all day long in different scenarios and I can't get to the fact that someone just shambled in there by accident. Thank you. You took the words out of my mouth. Appreciate that. All right.
Or the other one, there would have been some kind of trail there that they would have, or by 3 months later, they would have been able to find it.
I'd be pretty surprised if Nancy had Bitcoin first and foremost.
Yeah.
You know, and is it true, Brian, that she did have seconds taken out on her house? Have you been able to verify that?
No, I haven't seen that. No, I did hear she was going to sell it several years ago,
and then she gave it back.
But I don't know about.
Because I was going to say, if she had seconds out on her house, she doesn't have a boatload of cash sitting in any particular account, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking they went in there and they thought, oh shit, we got Savannah Guthrie's mom. We're going to go in there. And I heard around the way from Annie and Tommaso when they were playing pool drunk the other night with the band members, I heard them say that Savannah's loaded and so is the mom. And it sucks because we're taking care of her. We don't get shit. I'm just saying that this is just hypothetical, all right? It's a hypothetical situation. And they're also, okay, so she has seconds to build the pool. Because I don't want maybe because I've looked into it and it shows nothing about that. It shows that she's paid her house off, period. Anything. I stopped watching when Savannah went back to work. Well, you missed the first, only me, baby. You missed the very first amount, the very first hour. So you may want to go back because all the stuff that is new was in the first hour. All right. So finding pajamas, more people coming in, forgetting about connections, nobody really being cleared per se.
You know, because of her age and the generation, you know, it's like more of a blue collar mindset where You don't take money, you don't take a second out on your house unless you don't have something else that could cover that cost for you. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine as close as she is to Savannah, if she got to that kind of a situation, you know what I mean? Savannah has a lot of
Yes,
money. I don't
definitely.
I
get the
think
sense that
too.
Savannah would just leave her high and dry. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I totally agree with that.
And I never heard of any, just even talking to
Now I showed you guys last week when we covered this the deed. There was literally the deed with Nancy Guthrie's name and it said paid. All right. Now she bought that. They bought that house in 75. The deed says paid. Now I'm not going to go into the banking records, but you say I can prove they're swapped out. They swapped out Einstein from what? Are you talking about Epstein? What are y'all talking about? We're trying to bring home Nancy Guthrie, my friends. All right. Conspiracy theories are not on the table right now.
the people in the neighborhood. I never heard of any financial issues. She had just gotten a new roof pretty recently. Her house is in good shape. She's got the pool guy. You know what I mean? Like there weren't any signs of, sometimes you can see things to look a little run down or maybe, you know, it was kind of like the opposite. The yard is really nice. So I don't.
Oh my gosh, that yard was gorgeous. That garden was so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wonder now what they're going to do because, you know, the HOA there has sent out several notices. Like they're, you know, starting to get frustrated with people still coming to the house. They're asking people not to leave flowers anymore. I wonder, you know, if you're the Guthrie family.
Although I gotta say, I can't encourage this, even though I was, showing the JLR stuff and the guy that was mad at the neighbor. Man, you really can't be pissed off when you're in somebody's neighborhood and you're not getting anywhere. Obviously, Nancy's not going to walk out of the damn house. Okay. If you're just sitting there on a chair and you're sweating all day and the neighbors are getting bothered by you taking up parking, having people deliver shit, I understand their frustration. I do. All right. FBI knows Tommaso's name. Of course. I would hope so. So I understand that. And I don't encourage anybody to go out there and start messing with them. That's just not cool. I'm just telling the most likely suspect. What suspects did you say, Mab? Because I do want to know about the interpersonal relationships and the dinner. Okay, so Mab, what I'm saying is the most likely suspects are the people that were detained and then released. So I made the thumbnail. So I'm glad you're here because I made the thumbnail with almost all of the people I could find that I've focused on and that are named in the actual media and confirmed to have been detained and released. All of these people. All right. And there's a connection that all goes back except for Ronald. Ronald Lopez inserted himself. So what suspects are we talking about? That's what I'm trying to figure out because we can't forget about these people. Look at how many damn people there are. Why are we forgetting about that and going off on a whole different Epstein tangent? I don't get it. That's what I don't get. I don't know. MP Dotcher, good to see you, my friend. Hit that like button, subscribe. I don't know about who knows what they're doing out there too. They don't want the crime solved, but they want the crime solved so everyone leaves the neighborhood. They do, but okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate, Tucson girl, and say if this were my neighborhood, I wouldn't want some weirdo drunk guy and some tattooed big fat guy outside sweating and whatever else. I would be like, dude, she's not coming out of the house. It's that we don't even know where her body is. Go away. So how does loose streamers coordinate with her going missing? That makes no sense. As a matter of fact, them being out there like that and interjecting themselves could actually be somebody that was part of the crime. Derek was part of it, and maybe Luke too. Yeah, well, Derek Colella was 100% part of it. We know, we went through that. Derek Colella is he's already been charged, and unless he takes a deal, he's going to have to go to trial for texting asking for Bitcoin. But that's not what I'm asking. What I'm saying is, what suspects do you think? And yeah, when you follow the money, it goes right back to two people.
It's probably hard to sell. I don't know. What do you do in that situation? I mean,
I would keep it. I'd keep the house for a while. Who cares what the HOA people say?
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
HOA people.
If people want to come, and
Yeah.
if I were those her
Yeah, we did
children, I
that.
would not sell that house right away. I wouldn't do anything for at least a year, because that's like, what people recommend. But I just, it's, I think under any circumstance, it's nice.
Now, listen, my friend, Hyper Kimberly, I live in San Jose, California. There are no cactuses and there are no rocks to pick up. So I'm not saying I have a solution. What I'm saying is if this were my neighborhood, I wouldn't want people out there just lingering all night long with spotlights on and having their little, maybe their Four Locos at night and smoking their weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very protective of my house. I'm very protective. Like, that's my parking. That's my parking. Like, it's just how it is. And I think it's funny that the HOA people are doing that. I don't have a solution. My solution is to say, hey, YouTubers, back off of it. You're not finding anything by staring at her house all night. You're just being creepy and you're not really getting anything done. I don't see anything being done. All right. Sounds familiar. I don't go outside. I don't do boots on the ground for that exact reason. Okay. When you mess with powerful people by interviewing 7 of them and 3 powerful guys end up in the pen, he may want retribution. See what I'm saying? Yeah, I definitely see that. I definitely see that. 7 victims, huh? The taco truck, get out of here. But they get free food, and they do, but I don't see what good that's doing. Why not go out there and do a physical search? Now, the motorcycle and drones are very invasive if they're using it on or over people's property. Right now, if I wanted to sunbathe in the backyard with no clothes on, I should be able to do that in my yard. I shouldn't worry about people riding up with motorcycles and in my backyard with drones. Go look for the body. The body is not in her front yard and it's not in her backyard. Go look elsewhere. That's what I'm saying. It's just it's not solving anything. Smoking. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. All right, tacos. She's like, just tacos. All right, let's continue.
To go into your parents' house, even when something like this may have happened, just to be there and be like in her presence, because they miss her so much. I don't know. All I know is,
yes, exactly.
Actually, I don't know anything about it, having never had a family member ripped out of their bed like this, and it still is just so deeply upsetting to me. But I'm not worried at all about people leaving flowers. And look at what it took with OJ. How long that they had to tear down that whole house, and then they sold every brick. People are not going to stop coming to that house. They're not going to stop going to that house because it's an iconic location right now. And that's just the fact of the matter as we stand today.
I mean, in all honesty, guys, if I were covering the case, if I were out there as a sheriff or an officer, if I was going to put work into it, why not at least find out the people's names, get their IDs, take down everyone's information so you know who's in and around the neighborhoods, because it really could be a distraction from other crimes that are happening. Because we saw the dumb idiot guy stealing someone's cactus plants in the middle of this giant investigation about a kidnapping. I mean, come on. Yeah, I talked about the weed guy and the drunk guy. The FBI that's what I'm saying. And FBI doesn't have to tell you shit, or me or anybody. They don't have to tell us anything. Thank you, Cool and Chris. I'll check it out. Let me continue real quick.
Is there any law enforcement reason for them not to sell it?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think police would be advising them would they still possibly need it for anything?
Well, they turned it over. They turned it back over to the family. And once you do that, all bets are off.
Yeah.
So they must not think there's anything else there except for the mat.
The mat, yeah. That mat that you would have taken right away. The infamous mat out front.
If I live close enough, I might even take it now. No, I wouldn't. I would not trespass.
Yeah, no, I know you wouldn't. Yeah, they actually I saw, there's a lot of like.
See, I wouldn't be boots on the ground either because I absolutely would just not do that. I don't like to be invasive like that at all. Cool and Chris, I got nothing from you. You got to send me the guilty of crime by j@gmail.com. All right. Gosh, I couldn't sell this soon. It's weird, Savannah. Post her children on Instagram, especially after this happened to her mom. Is she not worried? I think she's just going back to normal life, Yvette. I get what you're saying, but she's going back to normal life and not letting the people that did that may be trying to affect her. So I do understand that. But I get what you're saying too, because when that shit happened to me, the first thing I did was shut down all of my social medias off to the public, and y'all don't see baby guilty that's not such a baby anymore. Right? I would have taken the mat and the tile and the foliage, because he did use the bite light and he touched the foliage with the bite light and cross-contaminated that. So Hyper Kimberly says, I really wanted to say neighbors don't need to stoop. Oh, absolutely. I don't know what they're doing. I just only was looking at X today and I saw the neighbors are getting upset and I saw the nonsense going on. So yeah, I mean, again, I'm not out there. I don't know. And I'm not trying to talk down on YouTubers that are boots on the ground, because we need those. I will not be those, because I'm not going to be in someone's face. And if I am, I'll probably be trying to help them do something. I just can't do that. My attention span isn't going to do
Streamers
that.
and bloggers and stuff that go out there all the time. They put now there's like chains across the driveway. They put more no trespassing signs. So it's kind of, I don't know, turned into, I mean, I kind of get it. Like the neighbors that I talk to don't really mind it. They just care about Nancy. Like, honestly, the people I talk to, they're like, we just want Nancy to come back, like them to find Nancy. We don't mind if people are around.
All right, I'm done with this topic. This one just came out a few minutes ago. I do want to talk about why is this unsolved and what's next, okay? And Courtroom Confidential is awesome. There's so many different things right now that we can go, but FBI knows his name. I ask that. And will DNA and digital evidence point us right to the kidnapper? Is that what they're working on? And then we're going to be able to continue. Let's listen. 26 minutes in here.
You want to send it to Florida? Fine. But we're not gonna make an issue out of the whole thing.
Now we're talking about the DNA and the FBI, because right now, if we had had the DNA back, we would have a yes or no by now. What is up, Flojo? I'm missing your streams, or have you not been streaming? If you guys could drop Flojo's. I've been waiting for you to do a show, man. What's up, Flojo? Good to see you. Are you going back to Vegas this weekend? By any chance? All right, let's continue. I want to hear what they have to say, but like I said, there's a lot to be looked into, and that's happening behind the scenes, in my opinion, as far as FBI goes. The sheriff of Pima County, he's still in there. Nobody really wants him, but yet they do. A little confusing.
Right. And that was, I think, the right move, but I also think it did, to your point, cause some delays. And here's a point, in fact, from that same interview that Kash Patel did with Sean Hannity. They also talked about the only remarkable piece of evidence to have come out of this is that footage from the camera.
Right.
How did that come about? And this is, I think, really enlightening as far as what the FBI could have done if they were invited more on board. Here, let's listen.
The first 48 hours of anyone's disappearance are the most critical. And here's how these cases works. It is a state matter. It's a state and local law enforcement matter. What we, the FBI, do is say, hey, we're here to help. What do you need? What can we do? And for 4 days, we were kept out of the investigation. And when we were finally let in, Sean, look what we did. We went in and got the Ring doorbell. And we said, hey, is anyone talking to Google?
And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Nothing moved forward until FBI stepped in, period. Nobody else did anything. All right. The only thing that freaking Pima Nanos did was go to basketball games. I think he had a funeral. And he cleared people that cannot be cleared by being the last people to see you alive with the biggest motive. You cannot just clear people. All right. I haven't streamed. Oh, that's why. Yeah, you're working and stuff. I get it. I haven't been streaming the last 3 days. I know. No, he didn't, Cool and Chris. But 4 days too long. Listen, 4 days too long. It still took another 7 days after that. At least 7 days, because I think February 11th is when they started arresting or detaining and releasing people. All right. So 4 days plus 7. We lost a whole bunch of time. And only when FBI came in did we see any progress at all.
I called the leadership at Google and I said, look, we know that there was not a subscription service to capture all of the data that would have been captured had there been a subscription service.
Smart.
But can we go into the cache? Can we go into the data before it's deleted and see what we can find? That's why you have that image, because the FBI worked with Google to put that image out. Another thing we asked
you guys got that tape, which was the biggest breakthrough during that case.
We could have gotten it days before. We could have also maybe gotten more data.
Do you think they ever would have got that if the FBI wasn't involved?
Tough question, because I don't know the dynamic between that agency and Google. I can tell.
What I'm going to tell you right now is there's only so long that they hold it, and I don't know what that time frame is. But if Pima County never even approached Google and said, hey, can you do this? It would have been wiped out. So I'm going to answer that question in my opinion and say probably not. We probably would not have got those images. Some YouTuber said she had most of the money in a tree. Yeah, that's usually what happens. Probably Tommaso and Annie couldn't get no more of it. Well, here's what, Mo Franjo, I don't even know if you know how a trust works. There are different ways to do a trust, but when you have something in a trust, it's so that somebody can't just take it or sell it off, or if you go hit someone and they get sued, they're not going to take your shit. So Annie and Tommaso still have plenty to gain by what? What do they have access to her house, her cars? Who's paying the mortgage right now? That's what I want to know. Who's gaining the most? And Joanne says, clusterfuck. All right. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case, though, man. I don't think that's the case.
Now, look, I was NYPD, and, that swings a big bat, too. Actually, NYPD is bigger than FBI and probably makes more requests of the, in fact, I know it makes more requests of the various social media companies and tech companies. Just
now, do you guys think that they released everything? I don't think they would show their cards like that. And in these guys, what they're talking about with the Kash Patel interview and Ritter and Morrow, they're saying that they think Sheriff Nanos they're literally, in their opinion, was limiting FBI access or FBI involvement to ensure that local law enforcement, including Pima freaking Nanos, would get the credit for solving the case, potentially at the cost of the investigation's speed. They literally withheld information from the FBI, and he yelled at people that handed stuff over to them. Tell me you want that solved. Tell me you want that solved without telling me you want that solved. Yeah, that I did. I covered all that, Electric Eye, at the very beginning.
Because of the size, NYPD has almost 3 times the number of people, and that's not a shot at the FBI. They're a very specialized agency. So
now, power of attorney. Let's not get this twisted. The power of attorney that we started talking about wasn't false. It just never had been filed, and the power of attorney was between Annie and Tommaso. It was saying that if something happens to Tommaso, then Annie has the power of attorney and vice versa, but they never filed it. So I speculated, I showed it, and I said, what is it about a power of attorney that they're trying to do here? Are they trying to go under the table with that? Are they doing some power of attorney with Nancy Guthrie that doesn't exist? Because I don't see it, and it's not hard to fake the papers. Now, if somebody's looking closely and they think you're a suspect, then yes, they will. Savannah also commented, had a commitment to other shows, even harder just to take time off. Yeah, and they won't. They're not going to share shit with us, guys, and rightfully so.
If nothing else, I am sure that Kash calling the leader of the leaders of FBI, of Google, certainly sped it along. I think that's undeniable. Look, what he just said, though, is very much exemplifies the point I was trying to make. Because, yeah, the FBI certainly got it, and certainly got it faster. But does that mean that the delay of 4 days, which, by the way, I'm not defending, they shouldn't have done it. He should have said, okay, FBI, listen, generally in law enforcement, you take any help you'll get. I mean, anytime I had a tough situation, they tell me Homeland has a guy that speaks that language. I said, get his ass over here. You kidding me? I'll buy him pizza. But, to hell. So, but that's it. This guy didn't do it. He had a history with the FBI. They investigated him on something. He didn't like them, especially the local. I mean, the optic was unmissable at the press conference I was talking about earlier. The sheriff was at the lectern over here. The 2 FBI agents were as far away from him as they could be. There was just no missing it. And I know what it's like in these sort of situations in general.
Especially when you have an ego the size of Pima. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up with, because I don't want to get into this whole discussion, what they're talking about, but I will continue telling you. So what it's about, what we're talking here about is DNA and digital devices. First, we talked about the DNA. The DNA is still we're waiting on them to extract it from one another. They say there's mixed DNA. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when you only have DNA of people that were supposed to be in the house, what does that tell you? Either you got something wrong, or the people that committed the crime were people that were supposed to be there. All right. Love you too, Jack Stormo. Good to see you. Without them, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Badass. But what I do want to give you guys hope on is that Nancy Guthrie's her Apple Watch may actually reveal what happened. Are they going to tell us that? Hell no, they're not. This case is still very baffling. We don't know anything, but with the digital ghost left behind by our Apple Watch, there's a breakdown of things, and the Apple Watch is a silent witness, so to speak, right? It leaves a digital trail Nancy left behind. Because she wore that watch, investigators can access the real-time data that physical evidence like blood found on the scene can't provide, right? It could provide physical distress reconstruction, and it will track the heart rate, steps, step counts, falls even. Now, investigators can also pinpoint the exact second that her body experienced a massive stress response, potentially marking the moment of abduction. Location and movement. Now, beyond the GPS, the watch can detect changes in elevation and movement patterns, which could reveal if she was carried or moved through specific areas of the home. And an alibi verification. The data from the watch and Annie and Tommaso's phones can confirm or debunk the statements about dinner on January 31st and what time they got there, how long they were in the driveway for, etc., etc. Let me put these cast of characters back up. You guys are very welcome. Hit that like button, subscribe if you would, get a membership if you can. I left my super chat, I left my PayPal, Venmo, whatever up because, well, Vegas, baby. All right, and I'm not done yet. Okay, so listen, here's some key insights. We're over 100 days later, and there's still blood at the scene and a masked suspect on footage that we can't even tell if there's one or two different people. All right, yet money has been left untouched. There's $1.25 million still sitting there waiting. Suggesting this was a simple robbery? No. The ransom theory? Now, the initial thoughts on Savannah Guthrie's celebrity status, but the lack of negotiation suggests, guys, that the motive was more personal or sinister than just cat. Okay? I want you guys to realize that. I hope you're not still thinking that, oh yeah, they kidnapped her for cash and didn't get anything. Now, preparation versus genius. The offender was prepared, masked, targeted time. But I was looking at Charles Brewer earlier. The judge notes that the silence from police doesn't mean the criminal is a mastermind. It often means that the forensic work is just being slow and they're being very meticulous. On the last note, why the silence? Public is frustrated. I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. Everybody's frustrated. HOA is frustrated. Neighbors are frustrated. Why? Well, because digital forensics, Apple Watch, cloud, backups, DNA takes months. And especially when you're getting more tips in and trying to see what's happening, you got people right out on the scene sharing pajamas that probably aren't even connected to the case. All right, so let's just look at this case as one that is going to be solved and that they are working on. Okay, this is not a cold case that we're not going to find out. They have a folder somewhere. I don't know how they keep folders. I've never worked in law enforcement, although some people tell me. I've actually been asked if I'm a cop before, which is interesting many times. That's weird, so weird. But these people, the pajamas, straight out. Fugitive TV knows what's up. Fugitive TV, go sub up to Fugitive TV as well. Who could send the bogus ransom? Well, that's the thing. That's exactly what we're talking about. My whole topic was DNA and digital devices. Do they point to the kidnapper? And then I wanted to show you all the people that have been either detained, brought themselves in, what have you, have the biggest motive. Now, I don't think that they won't be able to find the IP address from the bogus ransoms. I'm sure they're just still working on it. Remember, you guys, look at David. Look at the David and Celeste case. All right? Look at the David and Celeste case, guys. That took 7 months when everybody clearly knew that David was already being investigated, that Celeste was a witness to a child raping situation that became a witness turned victim. All right. They are alluding to the fact that they do have statements from Celeste Rivas Hernandez about David. So she was a witness turned victim. And you would think, damn, they already were watching her. They knew he was raping kids. All the people knew. And yet it took 7 months to arrest David. And he had body parts, nasty shit in his trunk. And it was all over the internet of what he was going to do. All right. So that's how you know that's why it takes so long. All right. I'm on the same track as you. I think she's alive. And well, really, that's interesting, guys. That would be awesome. We got Mr. Mab here and Fugitive TV says that, huh? You think that she's alive? Interesting. Well, I would love that. I would love to be wrong. All right. I know he does. That's the thing. Yeah, y'all go over and check out Clutch Them Pearls. That guy is being, to me, so this is Zach, guys. That's Zach, and he's ingratiating us with his presence on several different shows, kind of like Daniel Martell. So I'd say go check out Zach, see why he's inserting himself into these YouTube channels and what you think about it. I mean, it could be possible. Nothing's off of the table at this point, but it's the most wild thing for a person like this that's never been named by the FBI to insert himself into this case. All right. Yeah, but he's inserting himself in the case and he's telling people to get out of his, he's watching his cameras from in Jordan. I'm just not buying it, man. But why is he inserting himself into it? That's my question. Why put yourself in the middle of this if you don't have to? Zach has never been detained or even looked at with those damn lips. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. If y'all want to chase some ghosts around and see what Zach has to say on whoever's show, I'm curious right there with you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the people that did support the channel today. Much love. Well, he's inserting himself into the media. I would never do that. You can tell me all day long. I would never go on the different channels and try to make myself look better. I wouldn't do it unless I had something that I was hiding. And that seems to happen. Daniel Martell did that as well. But thank you. That's why we like all the creators, other creators, because they have different perspectives. All right, guys. Love you all. Have a good one. I'll see y'all. I'll be in Vegas at the end of the week, baby. I'll be back here tomorrow streaming, though. All right? Good night, Mama Pearl. Love you. Bad Ash. Julie Stockmeyer. Deb, without her meds this long. I know. Yeah, I know. Who's the guy working at a dealership? Love you, too. Yeah, y'all guys talk in chat. Or Mab says if she's still alive, we'll never know about it, because if she... How will we not know about it if it was never... That makes no sense. Why in the world would someone keep an 84-year-old lady that can't really take care of herself? That means they got to buy her Depends, get her medicine once a month. That makes no sense if she's still alive. No, I'm not buying it, but I love you guys. Go check out Mab's late night streams and Patriot Pride and FloJo and Clutch Them Pearls and with everybody. Love you guys. Go check out all perspectives. And then when this case does get solved, I'll either say, yep, I was on the wrong track, or see, told you so. All right. Love you guys. See you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And on Friday, I will officially be at CrimeCon before Friday, but I think that officially the 30th, I'll be meeting up with the, our Guilty of Crime fam base. All right. So yeah, there's going to be live streaming. I mean, all you have to do is do this in a live stream. I paid almost $800 for the 2 tickets. So I'll definitely be watching people. Let's go look for pajamas, guys. I'm glad you said that, Fugitive TV, because it's ridiculous, right? Cool and Chris. All right. I'm going to stream there. I'm going to stream from, of course I'm going to stream from there, guys. All right. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. And then I'll see everybody at CrimeCon that's going, I guess, this weekend. Whenever we start, I'll be there. We'll be there nice and early. But, we got to do some swimming and all that because it's hot. Thank you, Midnight Lace. Please thank Midnight Lace if you receive that membership. Thank you, my friend. And if anyone is going to Vegas and you want to reach out to me, send me an email because I don't give my phone number. I can't give my phone number out to everybody. My phone already rings 1,000,000 damn times a day. So send me an email. We'll link up in Vegas. All right. I'll put my other email back up. It's guiltyofcrime@gmail.com. All right, y'all. Love you. See you tomorrow. Mwah. Peace.
Guilty of Crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of Crime.
Are you guilty?